So welcome to my next video installment of my song share. Today we'll be talking about my latest song, Take a Walk. It is currently now streaming on all media platforms, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, you name it. If you are interested, my link is in the description below. But to get to today's video, we're going to be talking about the overall session. We're going to be talking about Pro Tools, we're going to be talking about plugins, we're going to talk about the arrangement view, and we'll talk about instrumentation. So I look forward to sharing this with you. If you like what you see today, be sure to like, subscribe, and if you are interested in sharing it with anybody, if you have any enthusiasm towards this video and this type of video, please share. So here we are. This is my session for Take a Walk. I'm really excited to share this one. One of the big things that I was focusing on in this production was vibe and energy for the mix itself. I'll kind of share how I was able to achieve, a little bit of a feel for the mix as I go on. But really, as an agenda for this video, I want to talk about the arrangement, the instrumentation, and the mix itself. So I've got the arrangement view or the session view pulled up here. I've also got my the mix itself pulled up with all my plugins and such on another page here. But we'll start off with just the song idea. So it all started out as an acoustic guitar part. I'll share it here in the verse. So anyway, it's a pretty simple acoustic guitar part and idea, but I loved it when I started writing it. I was probably sitting on the patio or on the couch just, fiddling around on the guitar. One thing I'd like to touch on, which I've mentioned in a previous video, is just capturing ideas as a songwriter. I believe it's from Rick Rubin's book, The Creative Act. He refers to John Lennon when it comes to songwriting. And I've really tried to take this to heart. One of the things that you should try to do is capture the entire song in that moment that it originates. So say you come up with a cool, I'll say cool, just an idea. I'll let you be the judge of that. But just an idea, an acoustic guitar part like this one, it's important, or I would say at this point for me, imperative that I also try to come up with the chorus in the bridge, so that way I have the puzzle pieces to arrange a song. I don't start recording into Pro Tools until I've already arranged it. So for an example, to give you an example, like I actually came up with this verse part first. And of course it was stuck in my head for a while and I sat with it, and then I came up with this chorus here. Right? So simple enough. And then I came up with this bridge. I'm trying to simplify this for you so you can get the idea. So anyways, that's the idea. I capture the verse, the chorus, and the bridge in that one setting. That way I can sit on the couch, I can sit on the patio, continue to just enjoy the music as it is, and then arrange it. And then I'll record a full voice memo of just the guitar part. And then I'll at least have an idea of how it is. So then I'll eventually come to Pro Tools, pull up my template, and I'll record enable the acoustic guitar. I will find the tempo, record it, and then once I've done that, I'll go in here and I'll mark at the top, as you can see here, the intro, the verse, the chorus, the verse, the chorus, and the bridge. This is your typical pop song and your pop tune arrangement, but I'm trying to make things simple for myself. I've been pretty hard on myself in the past for songwriting and my the lack of output that I have, but with the lack of output that I have versus the amount of ideas that I have. So anyways, I wanted to kind of introduce this idea that Rick Rubin refers to John Lennon in his book, The Creative Act, that you want to capture it all in that moment, so that way when you want to actually get to work, you have something to work with, right? So it just doesn't stay a voice memo. So anyways, from there I can start, these are the missing puzzle pieces. So now I've got an actual Pro Tools session with an acoustic guitar part, with an intro, verse, chorus, and the arrangement's built. All that's left to do is to add the drums and the bass, and then maybe some keys. So I'll share the keyboards here now. In Pro Tools, I love the Mini Grand plugin. I don't have it here anymore because I've actually froze it. because I like to commit the virtual instruments just as a way of just like forgetting about it, get it done, record the part, and get it in. So I've got the acoustic guitar and then the piano. Halfway through the first verse, the piano comes in. Here we go. So the inspiration for this piano part, I think tonally is, if I remember correctly, this is like maybe subconsciously, but it's coming to me now, is Punch Up at a Wedding by Radiohead. I love the piano. It's compressed, but it's aggressive. So like when the piano comes into this verse, like it's a pretty chill acoustic guitar part. But when the piano comes in, it kind of puts some backbone in that part and really starts to make the song feel a little bit more meaningful as we go on. Outside of that, or after that, I've got the Mellotron. So I've got the Mellotron, the piano, and the acoustic guitar coming in here. So this is the chorus. It's on my left side. So anyways, to mention the plugin that I use for the Mellotron, it's called Mellotoon. The idea is that I've got the VST and I load it and then I freeze the track here. And here's the piano. So, you know, I've got that. Let's go into the bridge because that's the chorus that I just shared. Then we got the bridge. But anyways, I just like to, you know, throw the shout out to the Mellotoon. That plugin is amazing. I'll show you the interface here. Let me just pick up one of the tracks. Instrument, Mellotoon, Easy Keys Mellotoon. I love this thing. You can even like detune it. You've got your recorder. I think I was using the vibes on this tune and then the flute for the initial solo parts. But you got all these different options. One of these days, I'm going to buy an actual Mellotron. I love that thing. I honestly think it's like a huge part of the sound that I'm trying to go for. But anyways, so we've got your acoustic guitar, we've got the keys, we've got some electric guitar in the verse as well. So I'll turn the keyboards on so we can hear this again. And then the electric guitar is right here. So here we go. So that electric guitar, it's my Gibson SG standard in the middle position. The tone is achieved with I've actually changed the pickups to the whole lot of Buckers. I think that's what it's called. Whole lot of Buckers, something silly like that. But anyways, they're based off of Jimmy Page's pickups. So love those. They're made by Seymour Duncan. Anyways, then we got a bass line. So I'm just gonna like really just, now that we've got all the parts, I'm gonna mute the drums so you can hear without those. But like everything we've talked about, including the bass now on the chorus here. Okay, cool, right? So, and then we can talk about the drums. Like I mentioned before, in an apartment, this is a true home studio. I don't have my drums set up in here. So I've actually been a huge fan of Jake Reed's super dead drums and drum packs that he has available. I use them to kind of sculpt the drums for my tune here. So he's awesome because, you know, they're royalty free and you can just kind of play around and make some tunes. So let me show you the verse and kind of how this came about. They sound freaking sick. And with Pro Tools, you can bring the tune. The way that he actually lays out his plugins, which I love, is that they're in different tempos, and you can bring them into Pro Tools, and then they'll sync to the tempo because of Pro Tools. So you can really make it work, and you can kind of throw different type of drum parts together to make like something like this, like switch parts. Boom. You know what I mean? See, like I've cut it up. I've made my own little drum part. So anyways, that's that. That's pretty much the instrumentation. You, of course, have my vocals, but I don't really like to... I'm not very confident when it comes to mixing vocals, so I won't touch too much on it. I mean, I've got your standard channel strip that I've talked about in the past before by SSL 4KB. So I've got my vocals panned left and right, and I've got quite a bit of saturation with the simulated preamp on the channel strip 4KB. As far as reverbs, I've got the TC Electronic 8210 sourcing, my track sourcing the 8210, and I've also got some delay. But honestly, I don't really like a wet mix. One of the big inspirations for me recently when it comes to recording is Sparkle Horse, and I've noticed that his vocals are straight up in front and like no uncompromising and compressed, and you're just right in front of the mix, and that's really inspiring to me because I've always been kind of like a little nervous to put my voice on top of a mix. But anyways, I love that he does it, and I'm trying to do something similar. At least it gives me a little bit of confidence. So that's that on the vocals. Outside of that, we've got plugins, so I'll kind of share these again. As I've done in the past. SSL 4KB, I love these plugins so much. Why? Because they work with this external piece of hardware here. This is the SSL UC1. You've got your EQ section, dynamic section, a gate expander, and you can use it and mix a tune without having to ever look at the screen. I mean, you just literally scroll through each track and you mix, and you're using your ears the whole time. My screen literally goes to sleep when I'm mixing, and I love that. It's, you know, I learned how to mix on an actual console in the past in college, and just getting my hands on a console nowadays is amazing. And in my eyes, I literally have an SSL 4K console in my home studio. So now we're going to talk about vibe. I talked about that being a big part of this tune. So how did I do it? So one of the inspirations for mixing this tune came from the mix engineer Shawn Everett. Shout out to him, and Mix with the Masters, because if you haven't heard of that program, you can pay for it. It's a $30 subscription for a year, but you've got all the best mixing engineers on there. Andrew Sheps, Dave Pensato, Shawn Everett, some folks that are huge in the industry, but they share their tips and tricks. Chad Blake is in there, but I'll get to the point. Vibe is the biggest thing when it comes to mixing, in my eyes, and you know, just you're trying to make sure that the song has a vibe and a feel. And I kind of see the studio and mixing as an instrument itself. It's just the last one, so it's like a, you know, I kind of try to think of it like a maybe like an artist or someone that has a shop that builds frames. Like you're building that frame for the tune, and you want to have it, you know, you don't want to just throw up a frame on an amazing painting. You want to have like the right frame. So mixing is kind of that, where you can add a little bit of color and have fun with the mix. So anyways, I've got the stereo mix, I've got the SSL bus compressor. So I'm going to show that to you. I'm going to turn it. This is the heaviest part of the tune. I think I'm going like 4 or 5 dB. Actually, I'm not hitting it too hard, maybe 3 dB. So anyways, I love that. That's an amazing plugin. I've also got it on my stems for the music, vocals, and the drums and bass, but I didn't even use it on there. So we'll go through the stereo bus here. So I've got a stereo imager from SSL, give it a little bit of width. I've got the FGMU. This I'm not even hitting really, maybe a dB. Not even, like maybe a half a dB, or no, that's a 2. So maybe it's about 1 dB of compression, but I just like with this plugin for the color that it adds. Virtual Tape Machine by Slate Digital. I'm hitting it pretty hard. I didn't realize I was hitting it that hard, but whatever, I don't care. Going back to the idea of vibe, I use the C4. What Shawn Everett does in his mixes, he actually uses a multi-band compressor, and in this particular case, I kind of copied him and used an expander on the low end to make it jump, like the kick and the bass, and you know, kind of make it pump. So you can see here. So it's like really moving, like the mix is moving here. Let's see, I'm going to show you the PA analyzer. So one of the things that he used this specific plugin as well, but you know, of course you're using your ears, but you can also see the mix here where it's moving. I'm gonna pull this up at the same time, this instance. So I'm gonna unsolo it. So this is the low end, and you can see it's moving. Like there's a vibe, and you can feel it, and you can see it. I mean, so anyways, I love that. One of the ways that I was also able to achieve that was not by just this plugin. I mean, you've got to work with your bass, you've got to work with your drums to achieve this type of drum sound or low end sound. So one of the tricks that I used was, I think I was watching a recording workshop, what was it? The Recording Revolution, where he talks about mixing his drums and his bass. So one of the things that he would do is he would get the bass going, and he would basically get an average on the VU meters here. This is a tip trick. I don't remember who it came from, but I got the video. I mean, the idea from a YouTube video from the Recording Revolution, where you kind of average out the bass at 3 dB, and then you've got the drum loops. A drum loop is all the drums. Unfortunately, he uses a kick drum in this instance, but anytime the kick drum hits, it brings that average from 3 to 0. So watch the VU meters here. Check it out. See, there's that vibe. So one of the ways that you can achieve that is by starting off the mix. And I've always done this anyways, but start off with the drums. Get a nice level for the drums, or get a nice level for the bass. It doesn't really matter. Whatever you want to have setting. The bass is pretty consistent throughout this tune, so I started off with the bass. So I wanted to hit that, at least get this to about, positive 5, is that negative? Negative 5 to 3 dB here. And then build their mix around that in the loudest part of the song. So once I got that going, I started to see it. And then I started to expand, of course, in this plugin. Going back over to the bus, the 2 mix, I've got an L2 limiter to get it louder, just to get the mix louder. Honestly, one of the things I love about the mix with the masters is that these folks are, there's a lot of rules in the industry around audio engineering, and seeing people like Shawn Everett, Chad Blake go into their sessions and like literally break all the rules. Like they don't want anything on the master bus. Like, Shawn Everett will literally leave plugins on from one session to another and just hear what's happening, and they'll be like, well, I like that, and just leave the plugin there. Kind of like what I did with the FGMU here. It's just there for color. It's not doing a whole lot, but when I A/B'd it with and without it. I hope you can hear that, but it kind of cleans up that low mid-range. It kind of clears out some of the mud. It's either doing that or it's bringing up some of the high end, which is probably doing that, but it's a compressor. So it cleans it up. I love it. So, I mean, that's pretty much the idea here. With this tune, it's all about a vibe. It's all about chilling and like listening and feeling the music. And, my wife was kind of making fun of my music recently. Not making fun of it, but kind of making a notice that like most of my songs are pretty slow and chill. And, it's like, I kind of came up with the idea of the subgenre of couch music. So anyways, I'm excited to share it. This is just another installment. I'm going to continue to do videos with like this, where I talk about my mixes. But if you are interested in learning more or talking about, in audio engineering, making music, feel free to share, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'm all about just sharing these days. That's what it's all about. I'm just about having a good time with it. So if you like what you see, give it a like, subscribe. We'll talk to you soon.